Alright, so now that you have some classes or a class, let's look at managing them. So this is the main screen you would see when Google Classroom first comes up, and it would show all of your classes. Now, all the classes that you are the teacher of, it will not have your picture next to it. But if you are attending or enrolled in another class, it will have a little circle here with an icon of a picture of whoever is the class teacher. So that's what your students would see. That's why it's important to make sure your profile is up there. Otherwise, it's going to look like this. So looking at these screens, you can maneuver because you might say, you know what, I like this class to be up here. So I'm just going to click and drag and move it to this spot. So you can move and order them any way that you'd like. You also have some other indications here. So you have open the gradebook, so all the arrows there, open the gradebook. And then you also have your folder. This is your Drive folder that is created when you use Google Classroom to create a class. It sets up its own folder for you as the teacher and distributes it so all the students have it in their capacity. What I want to also show you is on the other end, if you are enrolled in a class, it's going to allow you to open your work. So this is where students would first come also, and they would see this little picture, and they can click on that to open their work. And this would actually show the folder where all the stuff is stored for them. Generally, I just tell people to click on this, but if they want to go straight to their work, they can do that. Now let's look at, besides moving them around, let's look at managing them. So one of the things I want you to do is be able to click on these three dots, which is another menu. And notice we have Move, Edit, Copy, and Archive. So in order to, if I click on Move, it's just going to bring a listing of all the classes that I currently have, and allows me to move it to the beginning if I want to, move it to the end, or anywhere in between. So if I want it, after this one, I just click there, and you can see it got moved there. Or you can simply just drag it. So that's your moving. Then as far as editing, let's say you started working on your class and you're like, you know what, I want to change this. I want to change the name of it. So I want to call this Google Classroom Today. I could do that. I can change my section, my subject, and then also I can change my room number. So if I want to put a year or something like that, I can. And then I hit save. Now, when you first create the class, it's going to create that file structure. So the folder here, so I'll click on that. So notice how it says the new Google Classroom blendEDTECHlearning. So it still keeps that same folder structure as when you first created it, but the appearance of it is going to be like this for everybody. You can go back and change it in the folder structure if you wanted to here. You can rename your folder if you wanted to, but it does not automatically do that. Now, next thing. Besides editing, you can also copy a class. Now this is great if you want to copy a class. It forces a copy of everything in your class, which means topics and classwork items. Okay, even stuff that you have in draft. What it does not do is it doesn't copy the roster or any of those announcements that are in the stream. Those will not be copied. And so by doing this, it allows me to duplicate almost like a template of a class. So really just concentrate on making one class if you make multiple classes, or if you have multiple classes that you teach, and that way you get that one good as your template, and then you can continue to move things to other classes. Some people just like to have a template class, and then they use that to post things. But this allows you to basically create several blocks for one class, so that way the items and the structure that you have set up is the same. So I'm going to hit copy, just so you can see what it looks like. And what it's doing, of course, is it's creating a folder structure, and it's setting up all the topics that I have set up. So there it is. Made it in blue. It's a copy of, and it's the same exact thing. And now it's still creating the class. So you can see there's the folder, not there yet. There we go. No students in there yet, but it has everything ready. And so if I were to click on it, there's the normal stream. Like I said, nothing comes over, but look, classwork. I have all these topics already ready with all these assignments. So they're all ready, and notice they're all in draft form because this class has not been issued. I don't have any students. I haven't basically published anything. Now to get back to it, I'm just going to click on the 3 lines on the left here and go back to classes. Now I'm going to show you this class. Same thing, but look, I already have announcements. The classwork, things are filled in. Notice some things have already been issued or published or posted. So you can see it copies all of it, but it's not exactly the same because this one is a working class and another one was new. So again, nice feature. I just click on the 3 lines to get back and go to all my classes. All right, so let's say I made this and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to make this anymore. I want to get rid of it or delete it. There's no delete button. So what Google does is before you decide to delete anything, it's almost like a 2-step type verification. You have to archive it, similar to like your mail. You might put it in the trash, but it sits in the trash for 30 days. So what I'm going to do is archive this. And so when you archive, and again, read all the pop-ups because Google changes things sometimes, and if they have a pop-up, there's a reason because it's something new or something you haven't done before. So it's making sure you know those things. So notice it says all class files will remain in Google Drive. So even though it's not going to show up on a student's front list there, that archive class, they can view it by going to the drive and all their materials. And you can also. Now when you click on archive, now it's out of here. So where did it go? So I'm going to go to the 3 dots. And we go all the way down. Notice I have my classes separated on the left here by the ones I'm teaching versus the one I'm enrolled in. And then down at the bottom here, archived classes. And there they are. Look, I have a whole slew of archived classes. Now, why would I keep them? Just sometimes you want them out of the way. You don't want them in your present. Maybe it's old semesters. The good reason to keep them would be you want to be able to pull activities you did from last year or a couple of years from now, a couple of years ago, and you like an activity, and you'd be able to pull them up when you do your post. But let's say I want to delete this because there's nothing in here. So I just go to the 3 dots, and now again I can move this, and this is just moving it throughout the archived. I can copy it throughout the archived classes. I can restore it, which of course is going to bring it back to the regular class structure, or I can hit delete. Again, the prompt, you will no longer have access to the post or comments, but your class files still remain in Google Drive. So it doesn't delete those files. It really just takes it off of the Google Classroom platform, but all the files and data and things that you stored through assignments and things like that, and not necessarily in Classroom, but used that folder structure, they still remain. And of course you can't undo it, so make sure you decide before you do it that that's what you want. And now it's gone, it's deleted. All right, so now I'm going to go back to classes. And there, that's how you manage and access your classes.